In Project 11, we built Bookworm, an app to help users track the books they've read and what they thought of them, using our star rating component. Now, there's a custom view we made called Rating View over here, and in our case it shows star ratings from 1 through 5, but it's fully customizable to have other images and other maximum ratings. Now again, most of the app does really well with VoiceOver out of the box, but our rating view, this thing, is a hard fail. It uses, down here, tap gestures to attach functionality, and so users won't realize these things are actually buttons. And it doesn't even convey the fact they're supposed to represent star ratings. For example, if I tap one of the grey stars on a real device with VoiceOver running, this grey star here, for example, it'll read something like star, fill, image, possibly airplane, star. It's just not useful at all. Now that in itself is a problem. But an extra problematic thing here is that our rating view is designed to be reusable. It's supposed to be the kind that you can build once and take from this project and use in a dozen other projects, however you want to. And that just means you end up polluting many projects with poor accessibility. Now, we're going to tackle this in a slightly different way from the ones we looked at previously. We'll start off with a simpler set of modifiers that do an okay job. But then we'll look how we can add an adjustable action to get a more optimal result. Now, our initial approach will use 3 different modifiers, all placed underneath the on-tap gesture for the image. First, we're going to add one that uses a meaningful label for each star. So we'll say there is an accessibility label here. And the label we're going to use will be, if number is equal to 1, read out 1 star. Otherwise, read out, quote, read out number stars, like that. And then end all those quotes and parentheses. Come on, there we go. Got there in the end. That's the first thing. So it'll read either 1 star or 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, depending on how many stars there are currently. Second thing is we're going to say this is no longer an image. We'll say accessibility remove traits dot is image. And finally, we should tell the system this is actually a button, so VoiceOver knows it can be tapped. Now, while we're here, we can actually do an even better job at adding a second trait called is selected if the star is currently highlighted. So we'll say accessibility add traits. Now, if the number is greater than our rating, then it's a button. Don't select this one here. Otherwise, send back both is button and is selected. So it'll pick out highlighted ones correctly with the traits. And that took only 3 small changes, but the improved component we have now is already much better than what we had before. And this works well enough. I mean, you could stick with this and it'd be okay because it builds on skills you've seen elsewhere and they're useful skills to have. However, there's a second approach I want to look at because I think it's just a better thing all round. It's more useful and works more efficiently for folks who are relying on VoiceOver to get by in their app usage. So first, zap those 3 modifiers. Instead, we're going to say, I want to add modifiers to the whole HStack, to the whole thing. So we're going to flatten the whole thing out using accessibility element. Flatten it all down to one single element. Then use an accessibility label to say rating. That's what it's going to be. Now, beyond that, once we have our rating, we'll say there is an accessibility value. This will be, is rating equal to 1, then 1 star. Otherwise, again, it'll be rating stars. And then finally, accessibility adjustable action will give me a direction coming in. And inside here, we'll switch on the direction and say if we're incrementing, then if rating is less than our maximum rating, then rating plus equals 1. And then case dot decrement. If rating is greater than 1, then rating minus equals 1. And default, just breakout. Do nothing at all here. So we're using different elements on the parent. we're saying flatten all those images down to one single view, which reads out as rating when selected. The value we read out as 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, and so forth, and we allow you to swipe the way through it to select different ratings very, very efficiently, much faster than sort of going through individual buttons and pressing on those things here. And what will happen is it'll read out rating, 3 stars. And when you swipe to increase it, it won't say rating again, it'll just say 4 stars, 5 stars, or 2 stars, 1 star, down or up the way, depending where you go. It's so much more natural. It's a more idiomatic solution for VoiceOver. So it's a small change. Both solutions work, but I think this one really works better for a more fluid VoiceOver experience.